everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Play Some Video Games. It is March 3rd. We are fresh off Nintendo's Direct that they just released today. They had so many announcements that we just had to hop online and talk about them right away to all of you. So today it is myself, Kevin. As always, we got Donnie and Jason with us today for the crew. So without further ado, I think we'll jump right in because there was a ton of news. So right off the heels of their Nintendo Direct a few days ago earlier with the Pokemon Direct, which only lasted about 6 minutes total, people were left a little bit underwhelmed. Well, they certainly did not leave us feeling that way today, that's for darn sure. So I guess we'll start. We're just going to run through each title, kind of talk a little bit about what they unveiled and announced, and give some opinions and move on there so you guys can catch up with the rest of us. So they started the Nintendo Direct off with a bang. First thing they talked about was Star Fox Zero. That will release, surprisingly, on April 22nd. A lot of the internet thought they were going to announce another delay. They did not. Overall, it has a similar feel stylistically to Star Fox 64, they said. It will feature new maps, multiple paths on each map, all new storyline, new enemies, including giant enemies and bioweapons. There will be a new co-op mode featured in it that will have one player actually control the flight of the vehicle while the other one controls the guns. And the Fox amiibo will unlock the retro R-Wings. They also talked briefly about Star Fox Guard, which was another title that uses cameras to guard and attack your base from enemies, which to me had a little bit of a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of feel to it with flipping through the cameras and attacking enemies. Donnie, what's your take on Star Fox Zero?
All right, here's what Nintendo.com's press release has to say about Star Fox Guard. Players set up 12 cameras to find and defeat enemies who are attacking the mining site of Sleepy Toad's uncle Grippy Toad. The game includes about 100 stages, but players can also create their own stages by editing the placement of enemies and uploading their levels online. The only way to get the physical version of Star Fox Guard is by purchasing the packaged version of Star Fox Zero. I'm not going to read the release for Star Fox Zero. I think we all know what Star Fox Zero is, but I am going to say I'm totally going to pre-order this game now. The only reason why, because it's the only way you can get the physical version of Star Fox Guard, and I am somewhat of a collector, and I want the physical version, so I'm going to definitely buy the game now. Now, in defense of Star Fox Zero, I will say this trailer and this little video montage that had Miyamoto come in, it looked better. I think this is the best we've seen Star Fox Zero look in the last 2 years. Them showing off different boss battles and different branching paths, in my opinion, make that game look a lot better. I'm a little concerned their press release does say, and quote, players will notice their skills get better and better over time as they become top-notch pilots. That makes me think we're not going to get a conventional control method, that all of the motion controls that a lot of the internet have been complaining about are going to be there. I'm not concerned because I think Splatoon was a great example of how well that can work, and if Star Fox can emulate that, I'm fine with giving that game a go. I will say it does remind me of Star Fox 64. I could definitely see this as a game that I play through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, keep trying to beat my score, get all the collectibles, do it over and over again, just like I have Star Fox 64 on my 64 and on my 3DS. So I think the presentation was really good. I like that it has Amiibo. I wanted to see what Falco did. I kind of feel like they kind of left something out like with that. I'm like, where's the... I bought a Falco Amiibo because they said it's got Star Fox stuff coming. I hope it's content and not just another R-Wing. What do you think, Jason?
Oh, man, well, Star Fox is like my Nintendo franchise. It's always been. I mean, I didn't have a Super NES, but I managed to play the game. Star Fox 64 was like the one game I would always play at my dad's house because my brothers had it. I have 64 3D. I like Star Fox Adventures. I didn't play. Well, I had Star Fox Command. I didn't play Assault so much. So Star Fox has always been my thing. So I knew. Even when I first saw it, previous versions, this was still my game I had to purchase. It's and this kind of just further cemented that, like, crap, I have to purchase this, type of thing. Star Fox Guard, okay, it looks cool. I'm thrilled that it's packaged in there because otherwise I probably wouldn't play it on its own. But it looks like a cool little addition to the franchise. With this looking so familiar to 64, I'm excited for it. It's cool that the amiibo support's there. I do hope, like I'm up for trying that new control scheme. I do hope they have like maybe a classic scheme too, because I would think it might have to be in there, as they showed like the co-op variant where you could use a Wii Pro controller and then the other person uses the gamepad to do the shooting. Like Donnie, I can see you playing that with your kids. So that's
Absolutely.
a cool addition. So I wonder, maybe there's going to be that control option in there. I don't know for sure, but either way, it's looking like it's a must-own title for me. I'm excited for Star Fox. I'm glad that they took the time to revamp it from what we saw at E3 and things like that. But it looks like it's just a fun game. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the time that they spent delaying it, and it looks like they definitely did some more graphical work, because before it did really look a lot like Star Fox 64. I think that definitely worked out in their favor. Personally, I think they kind of almost have to have that optional control scheme. I don't see them not including it. I think by default it'll be some sort of motion, but I think they'll give you the option to throw it in there. Pretty sure Falco will unlock something down the line. Maybe in like the form like what they did with Splatoon, where it unlocked additional challenges or something like that. That's probably going to come out, but I think they want to start with the Fox one because it was a little bit more exciting to get that retro R-Wing back in there. I thought that was pretty cool to get the old school effect and the new school landscape. But it definitely looks like, not really any surprise, I think, to any of us, but it definitely seems like a must-own for any Wii U owner anyway. So I don't think that there was any surprise there. I think it looks great, and it's exciting to see it come out in a reasonable time frame now, too.
I still wish it had a multiplayer mode. I'm still thinking about that we get dogfights. I think the immediate reaction is that whatever this slippy Project Guard, Star Fox Guard thing is, I think a lot of people are going to go, well, isn't this just a mode been in the begin with? And I think people feel like they're going to pay extra for it. With that said, I think Nintendo is very smart to come here right before launch. We're a month and a half away, and they're basically saying, hey, if you buy the game now, you're going to get this video games. I think that's very smart. It gives Star Fox, in my opinion, that extra value, just that little cherry on top that says, hey, you're going to get the Star Fox game. We realize that the campaign's probably only going to be 5 or 6 hours long, as are most Star Foxes, but hey, there's this other game you get to play as well, and the replayability that the campaign will have you playing Star Fox over and over again. But I think it was smart on their part to throw something in there. But man, I remember when Project Guard was released, I think we were all, or at least in my opinion, I don't want to speak for other people. In my opinion, when I first saw Project Guard released, when they demoed it at E3, I was like, that's just a minigame. That is a game that they're just going to shoo into something. Yeah. And it looks like here we are, Star Fox, getting the minigame, shoot in.
Yeah, and I think as we go through the rest of these titles tonight, I think you see a trend with Nintendo in this announcement. That's not the only game that they talked about. Hey, you do this, we're going to throw in a little bit extra for you. That seemed to be kind of a message throughout the night, whether it's another mini game or extra content or physical content in some cases. But we'll get to that later. After Star Fox, they moved on to a quick little update on Splatoon. They announced that even despite them saying before they weren't going to release anything else for Splatoon, well, guess what? They are. More updates will start hitting as of March 8th, so a couple days from now. They said they're going to try and balance out weapons a little bit better to get people using weapons that weren't that popular. They're going to make adjustments to matchmaking on ranked things, so it's a little bit more evenly. You don't end up with somebody who's going to completely dominate you. New Splat elements to the Splatfest, rather. So they make new elements to that. They didn't really delve into what that was. And then the last thing was they were going to release new weapon types with different abilities lumped in. They're going to release it in 2 volumes. Volume 1 will come in April. They didn't give a release date for Volume 2 as far as those weapon packs. So it's cool to see them keep supporting Splatoon, but it wasn't a lot of stuff, but it's nice to see it to continue support.
Yeah, Splatoon's getting DLC, right? It's going to get paid DLC. I think it's going to come at E3. I'll go ahead and say this now. Today's Nintendo Direct was a great Nintendo Direct, but it really kind of felt like maybe this is the Wii U swan song. And it really felt like, here's everything that you're getting for the Wii U, not named Zelda. and then we've got some other stuff to talk about at E3. I felt like they were kind of getting everything out of the way, especially because a lot of the titles were, even though the Direct said spring and summer, a lot of the titles were, we'll talk about it later in 2016. So I really feel like some of these games are going to come out in June, August, September, and then you'll get the Zelda in November, and then that's kind of it. So I think it would be asinine on Nintendo's part not to do DLC for Splatoon. Like, give me a flood that I can pay for or earn from Super Mario Sunshine. Give me new characters I can play with. Give me stuff that I can outfit my characters with. A Mario cap, a Zelda tunic outfit, that type of stuff. I mean, just like they do with Smash Brothers. Splatoon is still an active fan base. People want to play that game. You just put Nintendo paint all over it and let people pay money. You earn a little extra, and I feel like that keeps that game going for whatever it is that NX becomes. I think we all think Splatoon will be there. I mean, this is a franchise that's going to be with Nintendo for the long haul, at least in my opinion. I think we'll be playing Splatoon for the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Jason, you got anything to add to that?
I haven't. I've kind of migrated a bit away from Splatoon, but I'm still very active on a Discord group of, I don't know how many we have, 100 plus worldwide Splatoon players that love this game. They play it competitively. They play it all the time, and so I mean, this just adds more legs to that game, which they love. I think the most conversation I saw came up from like the weapon rescans are nice, but the balance tweaks coming to it, changes to Splatfest, which everyone loves. I don't know. It might be enough to get me back into the game. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's cool to see it supported still. I mean, we started off with Splatoon. We saw not quite a finished game, a lot of missing content, and so a lot of the DLC we did get were things that maybe should have been there from the start. But it was great to see how Nintendo did support this, and it just really, by having that slow rollout of content, really kept this game feeling fresh to bring me right along with the Splatoon slang. But it's cool to see it still going, and like Donnie said, I think a new IP, it was awesome to see how successful it was. And I think, we're going to see Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3 down the, I can't wait to see what Splatoon might be like on NX with a little more, hardware behind it. It's a fun game. It's just cool to see it keep going.
Agreed. All right, so next up, they talked a little bit about Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. For Wii U, it will launch on June 24th. For the 3DS, it will actually be out March 18th. They kind of showed a little bit of gameplay video. They showed rugby, boxing, archery, BMX biking, gymnastics, volleyball, soccer, archery. And then they also detailed that the arenas that the events take place in are actually modeled after real places in Rio, which I thought was kind of cool. I've never been I don't want to say I've never been a fan. I've never actually played any of these games. They never kind of piqued my interest. But I know, Donnie, you said you played them, so what's your take on this?
Yeah, the Mario Sonic Winter game is a really good game if you can get it for like $20. I would never pay $60 for that game. But Nintendo has a really good history of making sports titles. I mentioned before, I love Mario All-Stars Baseball. If you've never played it, the Mario soccer game, the name escapes me.
Strikers, isn't it?
Strikers, man. Strikers is awesome. If you've never played Strikers, it's Smash meets soccer, kind of meets football. I mean, you really just go around tackling each other with these amazing power-ups, beating the snot out of each other. It really kind of resembles more of an over-the-top hockey game. I love golf games. That's a thing that a lot of people know about me, the folks that know me. I love Hot Shots Golf. I love Mario Golf. The Rio game for 3DS has a golf game in it. If that game reviews well, I will absolutely buy it just to play golf. Literally just to play golf, I'll buy that game. I'm a little upset that the Wii U version doesn't have golf. Right now, if you own a Wii U and that's it, the only Mario Golf, or really any golf game you're getting, is Wii Sports Golf or Mario Golf 64. Mario Golf 64 is, by the way, way better than Wii Sports Club. If you're going to play Wii Sports Golf, play Wii Sports Golf on Wii, not the Wii U version. It's better. The mechanics are better. But the Wii U version of this game, the Rio version of this game for Wii U, does get rugby and soccer, and it looked like in the E3 that we saw before that soccer game has some of that strikers element to it, and I would imagine the rugby does one as well. I know a lot of people are overlooking this game, and to be honest with you, that's probably the best way to go in this game. You're probably not paying much attention to this game. However, I'll say this. Of all the content that they've shown, like today they showed gymnastics. I know most of us don't care about gymnastics, but my daughter loves Hatsune Miku. She loves rhythm games, and that gymnastics game, that's exactly what it is. It's a rhythm game. It does the little circle wheel. You got to hit everything in motion. It's a rhythm game. If you like rhythm games, Guitar Hero, all that type of stuff, this game actually might appeal to a lot of people. I'm not telling you to go out there and pre-order it. I don't think that'd be wise. But if these games review well on both systems, if you can grab these games after they get discounted for $40, $30, I mean, I think you can have a lot of fun here. These games generally sell well. And the reason they sell well is they're really good multiplayer games. You can have a lot of fun, especially if you're like a family. I know my kids, when they saw it, and they saw the artwork, especially in the Wii U version. The Wii U version, you see Rosalina do the gymnastic thing, and you see all that. Yeah, my kids are like, we want that game. That game looks great. So, yeah. It's just
sure. Your kids were really into that game. Yeah, I see. Jason, you got any take on this?
I remember, back in the day playing like Olympic games on PlayStation and things like that, and they were fun. It was a lot of the arcade timing based, what we see now, or like quick time event type gameplay, things that were just fun like that. And this, it'd be interesting to know if this had online support or if it's mostly local, because it would be like that. Mario Rugby looked awesome to me. I would play I'd love to see some more full-on themed Mario sports games. I think like a Mario hockey, or I haven't played anything recent, but I think anything like that would be really fun under the Mario subheader. But as the game I'm going to get, probably not, because how much enjoyment am I going to get out of a single player with that at a $60 price tag? There's too much else coming out right now. But it looked, as a game that I've seen the title up on coming soon list, I was just like, nah. But after watching this, it looks actually pretty fun. It looks visually it looks good for what it is. I think it could be a fun game. It's just personally not something I'm too into, but I think for a lot of people it'll fill a niche, and I don't know. It's
I guarantee you it has absolutely no multiplayer baked in at all. Seeing what they've done with Wii Sports and the old Olympic games, even though Wii Sports had multiplayer, it wasn't the multiplayer that you really think of. It's kind of like a friend code thing. It's kind of baked in. It isn't real big.
This is what we need on a new console. We need this stuff.
Absolutely.
From day one.
Absolutely. Hey, Nintendo NX, I need that system to launch with the Mario Golf game. I need that to be in the launch lineup, and I'll be there. I'll be there anyway, but I'd definitely be there if it launches with the Mario Golf game.
Well, to keep the Mario talk going, the next subject they tackled was a little bit more information as far as new stuff for Super Mario Maker. So that game's about 6 months out too, and they're continuing to support that with more DLC. They did make a note to say as of right now there's 6.2 million courses available for play, which is insane. Completely insane. The new elements they showed was you'll be able to use you'll be able to turn thwomps into skewers. You'll be able to turn things into keys, and you have locked doors and some cool elements as far as that to make the courses a little more challenging. But I've seen some videos online for this, and some courses are already challenging enough, so it looks like they're bringing it up to a new level to really kind of push the creativity of the audience out there. The other thing they detailed was a super expert mode of 100 Marios. If you're able to complete that super expert mode, you will unlock new costumes if completed. They said just when you thought we were out of costumes, well, there's some more hidden in there. So kind of cool once again to see them pumping out more content for this game, much like they did with Splatoon, where it kind of came out and some people were like, well, they're missing X, Y, and Z. And every time you turn around, Nintendo's pumping out something new to this thing. So I think it has a lot of life still left in it, and if they keep pulling these tricks out, it's gonna keep rolling along.
The absolute best achievement system as an achievement system where you get to earn things that are tangible other than your little trophy score, your like, gaming score, in my opinion. And I love that Super Mario Maker has costumes where you get to play a game as somebody that nobody else gets to because you're better than everybody else. I think that's fantastic. They mentioned they have over 6 million Mario Maker courses already created since that game has launched. That's incredible. That's incredible. Again, when that game came out, I bought it, and I've told everybody it's an endless Mario game. I think it's gonna be really hard for them to ever sell a 2D Mario game that's not Mario Maker, because I could just imagine whatever the next 2D Mario is. You give it about 4 days, I'm gonna have every level in that game already recreated in Mario Maker on Wii U. I really like that game. I like the key mode. I definitely like that they made mention that it's going to make boss battles mandatory, that you can give your boss the key. I think the last time I played Mario Maker was when the Pokemon Challenge came out, and Bowser stood between me and my squirrel outfit, and I literally just ran by him. I was just like, well, I don't have to deal with him anymore. I love that now I actually have to. Somebody can go back and go, no. You have to beat my boss. Here you go, beat the boss, get the key, open up the door to get what you need to get to. So I think that's a great idea. I mean, it's a good update. I don't think I'll be rushing to Super Mario Maker to get to that update. But before I turn it over to Jason, I will say I'd like to make a note that March 2016 seems to be the month of Nintendo. By my notes, and correct me if I'm wrong, if either of you have anything else, I've got Twilight Princess, Hyrule Legends, Mario vs. Sonic on 3D, Mario Maker updates, Splatoon updates, Mini Mario and Friends, which we'll get to, SNES games for 3DS, which we'll get to, Bravely Second Demo, which we'll get to, all coming out in March.
You forgot Pokken Tournament.
Pokken Tournament is the one I forgot. This is a crazy packed month. As much as people go, oh my god, I gotta wait so long for the next Nintendo stuff, I kind of feel like they should have spread this out a bit. Put a couple of these in April, put a couple of these in May so I can get to them all. I mean, it's like 10 items that I gotta get to in March just to say that I checked in on every one of them. This looks like a great March for Nintendo gamers. Jason, what are you thinking about the Mario Maker update?
I think it's a cool addition. You know, I haven't yet to play Mario Maker, but anything that gives the designers more tools, I'm all for. I love that key mechanic. I can't wait to see how that's going to get utilized. The coins as well. Hey, it's cool to see more things happen. I mean, I'll leave it at that. I love the costumes that keep coming into it. You know, more things unlocking different costumes and everything like that. I can't speak on it too much because I haven't played it personally, but I'm all for anything getting continued support from Nintendo.
Yeah, absolutely. The next title they talked about is probably one of the weirdest ones, I think, in my opinion, was Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE.
I don't even know where to go with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the title alone makes no sense, but for those of you following at home, comes out June 24th if you're interested. It was basically described to us, even in its own terms, makes no sense that they marketed it this way, is that it's an RPG set in a pop idol concert. It's very K-pop centric.
Oh, yeah.
It's all in Japanese. They actually have English subtitles for the whole game, which is a little weird. So there was basically Atlas was like, nope, zero translation here, folks. We're not even going to attempt it. So I mean that was a little weird. I don't know how the story would even go because it is battle. Donnie's raising his hand, so it looks like he's got some info. So I'll just turn it over to you, Donnie. If you can explain it
Donnie,
somehow, please do.
It's all you.
Here's what Nintendo has to say. Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE appears to be the absolute final title. And it's described as slay monsters and slay like a pop star all at the same time. In this brand new RPG from acclaimed developer Atlas, a sinister force from another dimension has invaded modern-day Tokyo, resulting in a fantastical barrage of style, fashion, music, and of course, danger. So play to your strength in this high-energy turn-based battles, then use items to craft powerful weapons to crush your foes. Around every corner, you'll find a fan service including Fire Emblem references, original songs by Japanese entertainment giant Avex, dungeons themed after entertainment industry, and eye-catching music performances. This one-of-a-kind game launches on June 24th. I still have no idea what this game is about. Okay. This game was Fire Emblem Cross Tensei. We saw this game 4 years ago, did we not?
Yeah,
like this was the original E3, like Xenoblade X. This game is coming. In this game's defense, I will say this game looks amazing. This game looks beautiful. I love the little cel-shaded anime art style this game has. If it matters to anybody listening to our podcast, I doubt it. My daughter was rolling around the floor talking about how badly she wanted this game. She was doing flips. She was like, I love pop music. I want to be a pop music star. I was trying my best to look at the game, and I was like, is it a rhythm game? Is it a turn-based game? Is it a Fire Emblem game? Is it like a mashup of all these games? Because they dropped Fire Emblem from the title, like the whole Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, I kind of feel like it's not going to be that turn-based game. I feel like maybe their confidence is weakened in this game, especially considering how well Fire Emblem Fates has just sold and continues to sell in the West and the East. Everywhere that game is selling out. I paid way too much money for the special edition of that game just so I can have it. I kind of feel like they don't know if this game will do well. I don't feel like they feel that they have the confidence behind this game to really hit that summer title. I am honestly lost on it. I still don't know how the game plays or what kind of game it is. I'm torn if it's a RPG or if it's a rhythm game or it's an RPG game with rhythm action elements, or I don't know. I don't know what this game's about. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't think it's going to be captured by the American audience. I think it's going to be pretty lost on our market, to be honest. But all right, Atlas, you've been working on this for how long, but yet you cannot give us another Trauma Center game? I would much rather have one of those again. Give us the surgery simulator you put out on the DS originally, and I think they did one for the Wii. I don't know. It's very, very Japanese. I can't say that enough, so I don't think it's going to do that great here.
I mean, it's telling that it doesn't even have an English translation. I mean, am I the only one that looked at that and when they were like, because it's so Japanese-centric, we're just going to give you subtitles? And I was like, you don't think this game's going to sell well enough to warrant you actually doing a translation of the game, which is fine. I'm not against doing a game in translation. It really makes me feel worried about the game. It makes me feel like they have a game for the Japanese audience, and if you want to play it in America, they'll let you play it, but they're not going to go any further than that.
Yeah. Jason, you got anything to add?
Not on this one. It's I kind of checked out on this. I mean, if that's what your thing is, great. Otherwise, it's like this crazy, like you said, like J-pop, somehow Fire Emblem mixed into craziness, super Japan anime. I can't think of it. Just not my thing. I mean, like, what did they say too? This, if you're into Bill's, like, if you're into Japanese JRPGs, this is. I'm like, nope. I like some JRPGs, but not my thing. This thing just, it's a little too Eastern for me.
Yeah, it's Zoolander, the fighting game. So the next thing they showed briefly, they didn't go too much into this, but they've talked about this title for a little bit now, was the Lost Reavers on the Wii U. Free-to-play multiplayer game, kind of a treasure hunting team beat-em-up type game. It looks like the full version will be out in 420 or 428.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So
with, a beta on the 14th for
that's
like a
right.
week.
Yep, that's exactly right. And then they focus on you'll be able to level up your characters, unlock new skills, puzzles. So the more you play online, the more you can level up your character with their specific skill. Looks pretty cool. They didn't really delve too much into it, so I'll be a little more interested to see more about it when it comes out. But it looks pretty cool. I'll give it that much.
This game looks terrible. In my opinion, here's where I come from this game. they label this game as a free-to-play game. Numero uno, any game that you want to do successfully well in, at least with gamers, don't put the free-to-play label across it. Yeah, that's my opinion. The moment they say this is a free-to-play game, I'm like, I'm out. Because what that means is I'm going to let you play it for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to consistently hound you for money. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but so far they haven't told me otherwise. You know the thing about this game? This game doesn't look good. This game looks like an early 360 game. It doesn't even look like a good 360 game. It looks like an old 360 game.
Did you notice like the stuttering and the frame drops during the trailer too?
Yeah, I saw it.
This game looks bad. And then on top of all of that, there appears to be no narrative. It's just like, hey, go find some treasure while you shoot some zombies and do some puzzles with your friends. And I'm like, I barely have friends to play online. I mean, I don't even know if I'll partake in the beta. I kind of want to, honestly, just to see if it's as bad as I think it is. But when this game was announced, I was like, that's not going to be good. And here we are a year and a half later, I still don't think that game's going to be good. If you're dying to play Lost Reavers, all power to you, but I mean, that looks like a minigame. To be honest, when I looked at it, I was like, that looks like a really poor version of a subset of Xenoblade X. Like, for all the amazing things that Xenoblade X does with the open world and everything you can do, this literally looks like we're going to take this character model from Xenoblade X, let you go and shoot these awful zombie models with your friends online, and then we'll try to microtransaction you for doing it. Of all the things that they showed today, and this is a good direct, of all the things they showed today, this is probably at the very bottom of my list.
So you're saying Tokyo Mirage still has a chance?
So the thing about Tokyo Mirage that I will still cling to, even though that it's Japanese and you got the subtitles and all that game really looks good. If you go back and you watch the trailer, and you go watch the trailers before, it's got this cel-shaded, very colorful artwork. There appears to be some sort of open worldness to it. You get to run around Tokyo and the stuff like that. And being the Fire Emblem fan that I've already become, again, I just dropped way too much money on the special edition. I mean, if that game reviews well, if that game comes out and somebody says, you know what, this game's a 7 out of 10, I'll buy that game. If Lost Reavers comes out and somebody goes, you know what, that's a 7 out, I'm still not interested. Like, there's I'm like, no, I've got other things to do right now.
But it's free. How can you complain? You're not paying for it.
Because it's free for the first 3 minutes, and then they're going to be like, hey, you need to give us $5, or you can't do this anymore. I mean, no. It's banned by Namco.
It worked for Candy Crush, so, I mean.
Okay.
Jason, you got anything on this?
Looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look. Yeah, what Donnie said. I mean, it's free, so I mean, I'll download and give it a shot. I mean, if the co-op, yeah, I'll at least try it. I mean, I kind of like any kind of co-op opportunities. So, if depending on what the gameplay is like, I'm just worried it's going to be a lot of rinse and repeat, and how repetitive is that going to get? What's the pay? Is there going to be a paywall? What's that paywall going to be like? Because let's face it, there's probably going to be a paywall. I mean, what's going to be the hook to try to get people to buy stuff? Is cosmetics, things like that. I don't know. The gameplay doesn't look that enticing, but I'll give it a shot. I mean, I can be a guy with like a hockey mask and an axe and a shotgun. I mean, there you go. There's my hook. I can be a guy with an axe and a shotgun.
Can't you do that in like 30 other better games?
Yeah. But I'm getting treasure.
And you can solve puzzles.
Can't you do that in like 30 other better games? I was going to keep saying this over and over again.
So this isn't going to be Play With Us in April then? No?
I feel like we have to.
Yeah, we do.
I really do feel like we have to. If anything else, just to make a mockery of it. But I'm not looking forward to it. I'll say that.
All right, to move on to bigger and better things, this next one was one of my personal favorites out of the announcements. Also really weird that to my knowledge, they haven't talked about this title at all, and all of a sudden they're like, well, here you go, very nonchalantly, and didn't show a ton of it, and that would be Paper Mario Color Splash for the Wii U. No date, it's just to be announced for 2016. Basically, storyline is certain parts of the kingdom that they're in is losing color, so Mario with this trusty paint hammer, I don't know, they're probably just trying to use the Splatoon momentum here on this one, but hey, it's cool. It looks really good for a Paper Mario game. So I'm excited. I've been a fan of the series. Played them all, I believe. I think the only one I wasn't crazy about was Sticker Star on the 3DS. Other than that, it's a great series, so I'm excited to see that. Wish they showed a little bit more, and I'm just really surprised that this one was kind of pulled out of nowhere. We're just like, hey, this is coming out. It's coming out this year. So very cool. Very excited for that. Let's go with Jason this time. What's your take on this one?
I have never had the pleasure of actually playing a Paper Mario, so I know.
Wow.
Damn.
Jason!
Yep. I know. Well, you got to remember, I've had that big delay in my Nintendo adoption rate. So, I think I love. Well, I've already been familiar with the art style and everything like that. I know, online was pooping all of this because it's not in the everyone loves the 1,000-year door.
Yeah.
Everyone's so big on that, but I think it's like, hey, let's take Paper Mario, let's take a little Splatoon, and here you go. I think I love the art. Visually, it looks awesome. It looks and the way it actually looks when it's running too. I think it looks great. I mean, I started looking at this. I was like, it's like Paper Mario. I feel like some Splatoon. I'm getting a little Mario Sunshine vibe here too. I want to play it, and I guess that's the point of the Direct. To get me excited to want to play something. I want to play this game. I've never played Paper Mario. I will play it.
Yay! He will conform.
So, for those not following the latest and greatest on Twitter gaming, Emily Rogers actually unveiled that Nintendo was working on Paper Mario months ago. Also, for those of you not on the latest and greatest on Twitter, basically this entire Nintendo Direct leaked 2 days ago. When I saw the leak, I told everybody on the PSVG staff, if this is true, I'll love all of it. Guess what? It was true. Guess what? I love all of it. It was fantastic. So I feel like maybe a little bit of the hype that could have been gained by this being a complete surprise title is lost by the fact that it was leaked. But I will say this. That game looks great. The current theme for this Nintendo Direct, I would say, is Nintendo doing a lot with little. This entire Nintendo Direct is showing a bunch of games. I counted 12 3DS games announced for this Nintendo Direct, 9 more if you have a new 3DS and you include virtual console titles, and 3 to 5 Wii U games, depending how you feel with some games that we've seen before, like the Fire Emblem, Shigami Tensei, whatever the hell they called it by the time it was done, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, #Effie. So, you're exactly right. It looks like they used art assets from Splatoon, they mixed it with Sticker Star, and they came up with a Paper Mario game. And I played Sticker Star. I bought it for $9.99 at GameStop, so I want to say that because that might hinder my review. If I played that game for $40, maybe I wouldn't think so highly of it. That game's not bad. That's a good Paper Mario game. It's a good Mario game. It is Mario game with Mario tropes. You get the forest world and the desert world. I mean, it's a Mario game. I love Mario. I don't like the sticker part of it. I think that was the problem with Sticker Star, is that they had these little Big Planet-like stickers in there. It looks like they may have some of that in this new one. It doesn't look like that'll be the focus of the game, like Sticker Star was. And again, this game looks great. I literally, when I saw this game, I was like, that game looks as good as Yoshi's Woolly World does for Wii U. And Yoshi's Woolly World is the best-looking game I've seen on Wii U. That game is beautiful to stare at. It's a 2D platformer. That's fantastic. If you can get Paper Mario and the whole paper aspect of it to go in there with some RPG-light elements, as the Paper Mario series does, this looks like the last great Wii U game not named Zelda Wii U. And for anybody out there that owns a Wii U, thank the heavens that this game is coming. We just got a major Mario announcement, and for all that the internet will hate on it, because that's all that the internet does, I guarantee you this game scores well, it reviews well, it's worth your money. This is Nintendo going, hey, we're happy that you bought a Wii U. We're trying to do well by you. You're getting your Zelda. Here's another Mario. Thank you for, being loyal to the Nintendo brand, and I cannot wait to play this game. That game looks great.
Agreed. That's definitely, so far, the ones we've talked about. I think the only two that I'm like foaming at the mouth for and I'll pay full price for would be this title and Star Fox Zero. So the next couple announcements we'll probably just go lightly over with because they've been talked about in length before, and some of them are even going to be out or are out by the time you hear this. They showed a little bit more of Pokken Tournament and some character-specific stuff. One thing to note, if you do get an early copy of the game, it will come with a amiibo card for Shadow Mewtwo, and the game will launch on March 18th. The other thing, Twilight Princess, obviously by the time you're listening to this, it came out today, so shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. They wanted to talk a little bit about developer videos that were going to be available on Nintendo's YouTube channel if you were interested in learning more about the original Twilight Princess as well as the remake. And then the last thing on this kind of like quick hits is more about the My Nintendo Miitomo. They kind of reminded you, hey, you can pre-register for Miitomo, and you can register for your My Nintendo name so you can start getting ready to earn those coins that you'll be able to put towards sales and digital content, maybe even physical content down the line. I don't really have anything else to say about these three things. Do either of you guys?
I took tomorrow off so I could play Twilight Princess.
I took a half day so I can play Twilight Princess as well. So.
I already played Twilight Princess back in the day, so I'm good. But all right, so then moving along then, the next thing they announced was the Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge, which is coming to the Wii U and 3DS. Very cool. Pretty sure they're free, correct?
They are free. I'm so excited about this game because I gave Lacey his copy of this game. This is a really good puzzle game, and if you bought the original Mario... What the hell is the original game called? Like Mario v. Donkey Kong?
Yeah, March of the Minis, and they had a couple other ones.
There you go.
Something like that.
If you bought the original, you got a 3DS version for free. So I bought the original, got the 3DS copy of my 3DS. My daughter fell in love with the game. She was like, Daddy, I want this game. I bought the 3DS copy for her, gave Lacey the Wii U version of her game. I'm so glad that it's a free game. I honestly, as a Wii U owner, having bought that game twice already, I would have probably felt a little upset if they were like, here's this same game, and you're going to give us $19.99 for it. This is the Amiibo game that everybody's wanting. I mean, we've talked about Amiibo in the past. Our last episode was all about, Amiibo and its value. If you own an Amiibo, you're getting this game for free. Mm-hmm. So let me go ahead and say this. If you want this game early, you have to buy an Amiibo after March 25th. If you already own an Amiibo, you will get this game for free, but you will have to wait until April 28th. I'm totally fine with waiting. I'm going to wait and get this game for free, and I'm going to play it on my 3DS and all of my kids' 3DSs, or play the crap out of this game, because they showed that Mario can jump, that it's not simply just you tap a motion and wait for him to go through the puzzle, that you actually get action elements in this game. You get to play this game, I believe, with Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Toad, Mario, Bowser, Peach, Luigi, Bowser Jr., Rosalina, and Diddy Kong. And I presume, based on what they showed for Mario, that they will all have their own little action element. And if they all have their own action element, plus the levers and the quantities that you can create with the jumps and the bounces and all that, this would be a great puzzle game. I remember when I gave this game to you, Jason, I told you this is one of the best-looking Wii U games you can find. It's really fun. I remember I sat down and I played this game with my wife, and my wife got addicted to it. She played it for like 4 hours straight. I gave her the stylus, and she just sat there and she's like, I have to figure out how to get him over there. So I'm glad this game came. It's already been pre-announced for Japan. So if you're way into Nintendo news, you knew this game was coming. But we didn't know it was coming for free. Again, this feels like another thank you for buying a Wii U. We're happy to give you something. Thank you for buying an Amiibo. Here's a free game for you to play.
Anything else?
I don't think I can add anything on top of that. That covers it very nicely.
Yes, he hit all the points there for me, so I'm excited to give it a shot, see what it's all about. Another brief Amiibo news, they also announced that Series 3 of the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards and the Isabelle Amiibo and another Isabelle Amiibo with her custom summer outfit will all be launching on June 10th.
Now, here's a quick question I have before we go further, and this might have been a better topic for last week's show, but here's the thing. If you look at the Wolf Link Amiibo, it has a Triforce on the base.
Yes, it does.
So are we going to see, is there going to be a whole Zelda line of Amiibo down the road?
Absolutely. You know it will be. You know that. You should have known that to begin with.
I want a Star Fox line, too. I want an R-Wing Amiibo. I want Peppy.
Thank heavens, because the Link Amiibo is awful. Yeah. I need a better Link Amiibo. Because the Link Amiibo is terrible. So give me a whole new line, and I'll rebuy them all.
I think it's pretty much guaranteed. I think for the next Zelda game that they'll do it, and we'll talk about another gaming franchise that got a surprise series announcement at the end of the Nintendo Direct. But I think it's kind of a no-brainer. The Series 3 Animal Crossing cards, I hate to say, I have a whole stack of the Animal Crossing cards already. I will probably get a couple more packs, so this way I know I won't get any more doubles. Had good luck so far. I think I only have like one double out of all the packs.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So my kids enjoy it. We use them on the Amiibo Festival game, so kind of fun to see. Next announcement. This is a big one. I think we're all very excited about this one. Yes. So gamers have been begging for this for such a long time. They announced today that if you are the owner of a new 3DS, so not the previous generation, only you early adopters of the next one, you will get virtual console titles featuring your favorite SNES games.
Yes.
Yes, Super Mario World is one that's available right now, as well as F-Zero and Pilot Wings. Looks like all these titles are going to come out for $7.99. The next wave of games will be out on March 24th. That will feature Mario Kart, Earthbound, which I'm pumped for, and Donkey Kong Country. And then another three that they announced will be out on April 14th. The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Donkey Kong Country 2, and Super Metroid. So they're coming out with guns blazing on this with some top-notch titles. I'll definitely probably be picking up Super Mario World, Mario Kart Earthbound, Link to the Past, and probably Super Metroid in my bucket. So I am very excited for this. A little bummed they didn't talk anything about cross-buy if you already bought them, because I do already own Earthbound on my Wii U, but I would much rather play on my 3DS. So I will pay for that again, begrudgingly. But very pumped, and I'm really excited to see what else down the line they're going to put out for this. So.
I just imagine Donnie going nuts during the presentation, just throwing tables, running around the room.
Well, he was talking about his daughter doing cartwheels during that Tokyo Mirage game that we keep referencing back there. He was doing the same during this announcement.
Or remember Homer when he runs in circles on the floor?
Yes.
I screamed out loud when this came out. I immediately opened my 3DS. I have already bought Super Mario World. I've already beat the first two worlds in Super Mario World, and I bought F-Zero. When I went to my 3DS eShop, I didn't even just buy the games. I said I need $50. I bought a $50 credit because I was like, I'm going to buy at least 8 or 9 of these damn 3DS Virtual Console games for my 3DS. I want to say this right now. If you do not own a 3DS, now is the time to buy. You have no excuse. The 3DS library is amazing. It's full of the best 64 games you can get, some great 3DS games. It's got all the Pokemon games, the Virtual Console, and the new stuff, Remake of Oris, and now you have SNES games on the go with the best NES has to offer. The biggest issue that I had with the 3DS before today was the Virtual Console. All it had was the NES. And for those of you that came up with the NES that are a little older than me, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that you have this Nintendo Entertainment System. The first Nintendo system I had was the SNES, and it puts the NES to shame, in my opinion. It has the better version of all of the games that you played on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And I understand. I knew when I saw this thing, I was like, I'm so excited. And the immediate thing that came to my mind was, Kevin's going to be so mad he has to buy them all over again. So here's what I'll have to say to everybody else out there that's having this same approach. I understand that Sony has entered the market with this account system that you get to keep all of your games, but you really don't. I bought Hot Shots Golf 3 on my PS3. I can't play it on my Vita, and I can't play it on my PS4 yet. So it's not really this amazing account system that carries with you forever. There are certain games that you can play on certain systems. In honor of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, these are some of the greatest video games ever made. Not just good ones, the greatest ever made. A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, F-Zero, Earthbound. These are on anybody's top 100 video games of all time. And if you're new to video gaming in the last 20 years, you may have paid $70.99 on the Wii. You may have paid $7.99 on Wii U. You may have paid $7.99 on 3DS. Guess what? You got one of the greatest games ever made for less than $30. And you get to play it on all three of these different consoles. That's how I look at this. The one thing that got me in this entire announcement was Earthbound. When they brought Earthbound to Wii U, it was such a huge thing. We haven't seen this game in 20 years. I'd only heard about this game. I'd never played it. I was way too young when this game came out, and everybody talked about how great this game was. And I bought it on Wii U the day it was released, hoping to play it. And I was playing other things, and I never got to it. And when I tried to play it, I literally told myself, I said, you know what? This is a portable game. This was right when I kind of got my 3DS, and I started playing my 3DS. And since then, I have become a more portable gamer than console gamer. I just don't have time to play at home. I can't sit down at my couch like tomorrow when I take the day off to play 3 or 4 hours of Twilight Princess. I don't have that kind of time. I have to take days off to do that. I have to schedule it. But I carry my 3DS with me forever. And if it does the virtual console stuff with save states, like Super Mario World already does, that I can confirm, I'm so excited that I'm actually going to play and hopefully beat Earthbound. Because I'm going to carry it with me, and I'm going to play it in 5, 10, 15-minute spurts as I can. I mean, this is an amazing announcement. This is great. I mean, this is the last... Oh, God, the 3DS doesn't do SNES emulation like my tablet can if I illegally download stuff. A quick review. I will go ahead and tell you the Pixel Perfect mode is amazing. It looks, as it suggests, pixel perfect. It looks clear as day. It is spot on. It looks as good as it does on your Wii U. I will also mention that I think the sound quality, at least in F-Zero and Super Mario World, is a little low. The volume output is weak, so play it with headphones. And at least in Super Mario World's case, you know, these games, the Super NES is the Virtual Console is tied to the new Nintendo 3DS. If you have an old Nintendo 3DS or a 2DS, you will not be able to play these games. If you feel like that is unfair or unjust to you, I will tell you, as a new Nintendo 3DS owner, I got the star in Super Mario World and my game started to chug. So it really looks like these games are really dependent on the new processing power of the new 3DS, because even they can't run them superbly off, like right out of the get-go. Like, there are moments where the frame rate drops in these games, even on the new Nintendo 3DS. That said, I am so happy to have these games. Super Mario World is my favorite Mario game ever. I paid $7.99. I can play it whenever I want. I can pull it out of my pocket. If I'm in a meeting that I don't like, if I'm with family I don't like, if I'm at the doctor's office, it doesn't matter where. If I'm sitting in traffic, I can pull out my 3DS and bust through a level of Super Mario World and I'm so happy. This is the best announcement of today. It made this direct, in my case, over the top. It was that, like the Mario minigame was, we're happy you bought a Wii U, here's this game. I'm so happy that it's like, we're happy you bought a new Nintendo 3DS. We gave you Xenoblade Chronicles, we gave you Majora's Mask with a little C-stick, we realize you don't feel like you got your purchase worth. Well, here you go. You get SNES games that nobody else gets, and now I feel like my new Nintendo 3DS purchase was worth every dollar of the upgrade. I'm so happy.
All right, Jason, follow that.
I'm kind of in the same boat as Kevin a little bit, only because, not because it sucks I had to buy them again, but because I've put a lot of time into Earthbound and A Link to the Past that I don't want it to start all over again. But I will. Like, I have Super Metroid as well, but I've barely played it, and I've always thought to myself that I would much rather have these games on a 3DS. I think it like Donnie said, being able to just pick it up and play in small bites. Half the time when I was playing on the Wii U, I was playing on the gamepad anyway, so it just fits. I've probably most of my gaming lately has been on my 3DS. It's accessible. I don't have to, we only have one TV at the moment, so if a game doesn't have off-screen play, most of the time I'm waiting until like my wife would go to bed, or if she's watching whatever she wants to watch, then I can just chill. It's nice being able to be in the same area, but I can be doing my thing, which is what I like about the 3DS. So at this point, I'm probably going to eventually pick up Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World, F-Zero, Earthbound, Link to the Past. I'm looking. You're probably. I've got a trip coming up. We're going to go up to visit some family, like 6 hours away up north. I'm going to need some offline games to play. Oh, look what's going to be coming out: Earthbound, Donkey Kong Country. So, it's awesome. I wonder if we'll see any other games. If we don't, if these are all the games we get, these are some pretty sweet titles. I definitely will get 4 or 5 of them at some point. So, huge announcement. This was one of the things that leaked. I'm glad it was a truth, because it's great to finally have some decent VC support on the 3DS.
Kevin.
Yes.
Here's the question that I had for you that I wrote down when I watched the original showing. I watched today's Direct 2 or 3 times already, so when I say the original, my first time through. When you buy a game on PlayStation, you do not earn money. When My Nintendo goes live on March 18th, if you earn money for purchasing Earthbound again, for purchasing Super Mario World again, if you earn discounts for future games, will that make you feel better about having to purchase them again, or do you still wish you would just get them for free? I guess what I'm saying is, would you rather earn points for purchases that you've made more than once, or would you rather have the games for free and earn no rewards at all? All right!
No, I will definitely be buying some of these games again. Do not get me wrong. The My Nintendo rewards, if that's in place by then, by the time these games roll around, cool, that's a bonus. I'll be happy with that. See, my situation, being an old fart that I am, when you say, okay, I bought this game on my virtual console on the Wii for $7.99, and I bought it again on the Wii U for $7.99, now I'm going to buy it on the 3DS for $7.99, I got this game for under $30. Okay, when Earthbound came out, that's when I got it. At the time, I believe that game was either $40 or $50, because if you don't remember, even Super Nintendo games were up there, certain games. And this was one of them. It came with the strategy guide, some other things that came with it when you got like the early adopters edition of it. So that right there, I had already shelled out money for it. I do have it on the Wii U. I think it was $10, if I recall. It might have been $7.99. I'm not 100% sure. So I am still going to dump money into it again, begrudgingly, because it is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm okay with it, honestly. I definitely think you're right. Me having played it on the Wii U a couple times, it definitely feels at this point like, hey, this should totally be a portable. I agree. A lot of the great RPGs of the Super Nintendo era, I think now if you were to go back and play them on a handheld, that's the way to play it. So I'm excited for it. I want to see what else they roll out with, but I will be buying them. I'm going to do it. As much as I'll complain about it like an old man, I will still do it anyway.
I bring it up because if you bought a Wii U at launch or just like literally within the first year, you got that DDP bonus, that digital deluxe promotion.
Yeah.
Where you earned cash on all of your digital purchases. And I loved that. And the reason I say I love that is because I bought so many games that I would have never bought because I had $5, $10, $15, $20 of credit to buy. Games that I really, really fell in love with. Games like Teslagrad. I probably would have never bought Teslagrad, but I bought it because I had $15 in DDP credit on Wii U. I bought Runner 2, Rhythm Alien. I probably would have never bought that game. I didn't think it appealed to me, and I bought it, and I played the crap out of that game. That's one of the best games on Wii U. I love that promotion. I'm excited that My Nintendo's coming back with that as an adoptive process. And before people go, well, I bought this game once, now I want to carry it with me forever. I mean, I think the idea that you buy and play a game and you earn money for buying and playing a game that will enable you to buy other games, I think that might be as valuable as, paying a subscription service where you get access these games for free. I mean, I'm a PS Plus member. I don't mean to shoot holes at these subscription services. I'm also an Xbox Live member. And for me, personally, and I'm more Nintendo-focused than most, I can't really think of the last 6 months a game that came on either one of those services that I was like, I have to go and download right now. But at least Nintendo's going, you don't pay us monthly. You buy the games you want. When you buy the games that we like you buying, we'll give you some money. And then you get the option to go pick out your own game. I think that style, that approach, that system, I think that system's better than give us $60 a year and we'll throw some game at you that we decide at a later date.
Agreed. For the sake of time, because this initially was only supposed to be a half-hour, 45-minute cast, and we're over the hour mark now, boys and girls.
That wasn't going to happen.
At least I'm going to force us to just glance over a few more titles here. So I might skip around a little bit, but I'll make sure we go back to the ones that are worth talking about. So they announced Pocket Card Jockey, horse race solitaire mashup game from the creators of Pokemon Game Freak. Really weird. You'd have to see it for yourself. You basically play solitaire to make your horse better at horse racing, and then eventually your horses will retire, and they'll have little baby ponies that you will then somehow improve by playing solitaire really, really well. Another game they talked about was Azure Striker Gunbolt 2. I didn't know that was the first one. To me, it looked like Mega Man X or Mega Man Zero on speed. It was just super fast. The character adopts the abilities of the bosses it beats and carries on. So that seems pretty cool if you're into that. They talked more about Fire Emblem. Obviously, the third installment is coming out March 10th. If you own the other ones, you can get it for $20. They also talked a little about the DLC for Fire Emblem. More maps coming out. They will continue to have maps all the time. I believe they said up until the end of April they're going to release more and more DLC for this title. Disney Art Academy shows you how to draw Disney characters. Looks pretty cool. One of my daughters was piqued her interest a little bit there. Hyrule Warrior Legends, that's obviously been talked about a lot. They did announce there's going to be a season pass that will include 4 different DLC packs, all to be released in 2016. If you do buy the season pass, you get a bonus Ganondorf outfit that's exclusive to that. When you buy a physical copy of Hyrule Warrior Legends, if you own Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, you'll be able to download all the new characters that were exclusive to the 3DS version. So you get those. Also, if you pre-order at GameStop, they give you a neat character art book. And they announced Medley was going to be one of the characters coming up in DLC from Wind Waker, the little duck-billed girl that plays the harp. So interesting to see how that plays out.
Poor Medley.
A couple other RPGs to touch on. I think all these are quote-unquote big RPGs, I think, for the 3DS. I haven't played any of these, but they talked about Bravely Second, which looks amazing. I really want to play the first one, but it looks like copies of that game go for like $40 or $50 right now, or higher in some cases. The game looks amazing. They announced some new class of characters for that, including wizards, which they said doesn't sound anything new, but it is new to this game. And the most intriguing class of character I think I've ever seen in an RPG, the Catmancer. Your character will be able to tame cats that will learn the abilities of their opponents, and they'll be rewarded with treats by using their opponent's abilities. Very weird. but it looked really cool. You can download the demo on March 10th. You can pre-buy the game on March 10th if you like the game that much off the demo. The official launch will be April 15th, and there will be a collector's edition that carries a buttload of stuff. It looked like there was a giant book of character art. There was a soundtrack CD, and it looked like there was some other bonus material in there. They also talked about Dragon Quest VII, which will be released in 2016. They didn't give a date for it. It is a completely rebuilt translation of the original game with new classes and abilities. Very old school RPG-ish, but looks really nice on the 3DS. And then they finally announced for the U.S. Monster Hunter Generations coming out this summer at some point. This one seemed to be probably the coolest out of the three. Give you online co-op abilities. If you have the previous version, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Edition, you get bonus stuff when your game save carries over to this one. They didn't really say what, but it looked pretty cool. And then there's also, from Fire Emblem, the character Marth. You can get his armor in this game, which looked pretty cool in the characters as well. So, pretty cool if you're into the JRPG style stuff. Definitely not as weird as Tokyo Mirage. That's our running joke of the evening. And then I think the next big news was Metroid Prime Federation Force. So I will definitely say that initially at E3 last year, I was like, what the heck are they doing with this? This is not a Metroid game. This looks absolutely horrible. It looks like Rocket League, but with Metroid characters. They sold me a little bit more on this release. When they showed the trailer, you got a little bit more feel for what the game was besides that Rocket League-esque minigame you can play. It's coming out late spring. They didn't give a hard date on it. Story focuses on the Galactic Federation versus the space pirates of the Metroid lore. There's different classes you can become, medics, warriors, depending on the type of weapon loadout you decide to take with you. Looks pretty cool. It does seem to be in the same spirit of the Metroid Prime games if you play them on the GameCube or when they re-released them. My only gripe with it is now, I think, is the graphics. It doesn't look that good of a game to me, graphically. I think that was probably and hopefully done only for the sake of how big the game might be, that they can't have it look as nice because it's going to be a massive game. Definitely the online co-op looks amazing. It seems to be a great selling point there. But for me, graphically, it just didn't look as good as a lot of other 3DS games out there. What do you guys think?
One thing I want to mention just before we even get into this. If you buy Hyrule Warriors Legends on 3DS, you also get a free theme for your 3DS.
That's right. I forgot that.
Azure Striker Gunvolt is marked down to $9.99. If you haven't played that game, if you like Mega Man and platformers, that's a really good game. It also has 3D support. The art is really good. It's a challenging game, so I'm excited for the new one summer release. But back to the topic at hand, Federation Force. The first note that I wrote when I watched this is, shouldn't this be called Halo?
Yeah.
Doesn't this look like a Halo game?
It really does.
Don't the enemies look like Halo enemies? I played Halo 1 and 2 this year for the first time in my life. I say this year. Last year, I had an Xbox One for a brief period of time when Master Chief Collection came out. I played Halo 1 and 2, and when this game was shown, I literally was like, that's a Halo game, not a Metroid game. That aside, I like the role-playing. If it's any consolation to you, Kevin, I think a lot of times 3DS games don't look good when they show them in these type of formats. I think anybody that owns a 3DS has seen plenty of times where a 3DS game looks a lot better in person.
Yeah.
It's the screen, the 3DS, it's hard, and I feel bad for anybody out there that's going, no, you're trying to make excuses. I'm really not. It's really hard to appreciate how good graphics can look on a 3DS when you're not looking at the 3DS screen. When you're outputting that and you're porting it out to regular standard video, it looks choppy and it looks edgy. But if you played Ocarina of Time on your 3DS, and even if you didn't turn it all the way up, if you just click the 3DS slider up, I mean, it looks so smooth and it looks so pretty with all the graphics they put on top of it. Fire Emblem is the reason I really got into that series. The cutscenes look amazing, like the anime and everything. It looks really good on 3DS. So I agree with you. What they showed doesn't look good. I'm holding out hope that if you get this game, it looks better. I think it will, because that's kind of the status quo. I don't know how much better it will look. I wish the mech suits looked, I won't say better, because better is not the right word. I wish they were more different.
They needed to look more like Samus, I think.
Yeah, individual-wise, maybe they all look the same. They're just different colors. Maybe give somebody like a radio and give somebody a gun and change it up a little bit. Like give them some shadows. To note, I was reading on Pure Nintendo, which is the Nintendo-focused magazine. They got a quote from Nintendo, actual company, that said Samus Aran will have a cameo in this game. So there is a Metroid Prime focus campaign that will tie these worlds together. You will have your Metroid focused storyline in this game. I played Hyrule Warriors with my children. I still love playing Hyrule Warriors with my children. Hyrule Warriors, Triforce Legends. I bring that up because I'm concerned with how focused this game is on co-op. I think 3DS co-op is great. I really do. Local play especially. Playing Star Fox and doing dogfights together, playing Triforce Heroes. I mean, there's a really good time with doing this all local co-op. The moment you branch this out to multiplayer specific, I become worried.
Yeah.
Because if you play Triforce Heroes with other people, not right next to you, the lack of voice chat, the lack of really good stability, not being able to coordinate, I mean, that could make something like this really hard. One thing that I will say in favor of this game, and I will say in favor, I still don't think I'm buying this game yet. They haven't sold me on this. But one thing I'll say in favor of this game is we need more 3DS shooters. I played Moon Chronicles, I played Ironfall, I beat both of them. Both of them are really good. And if this game can accomplish both, either of what those two did, and those two by far are not setting the bar very high, this could be a big hit just because it's a 3DS shooter. And it's really hard. If you like I like shooters. I play Call of Duty and Battlefield every year, like most gamers. I like shooting stuff. It's really hard to get a shooter on 3DS, and if Metroid Prime can pull it off, especially with that Rocket League-style soccer game that they have, I mean, maybe they have a sleeper hit here. I'm excited that it's coming soon. I think late spring means that this game comes out before E3. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it should, because E3 would technically be in the summer, I think. So I think probably mid to end of May would be the latest it can come out.
Jason?
Just to recap a few things real quick. I think it's funny that they showed that collector's edition for Bravely Second with the art book and everything. Somebody I was talking to on Discord was trying to buy that, and it was sold out like instantly.
Wow.
Like maybe a minute after that aired. It's nuts how fast that went. Hyrule Warriors Legends. I've borrowed Hyrule Warriors from my brother. That's the game I'd love to have in mobile form. Bravely Second. Kevin, I haven't played Bravely Default. I want to play both of those. Dragon Quest. There's so many RPGs you can rediscover now on 3DS. That looks. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but it might give it a shot. But going on to Federation Force, I think I was kind of in the group with people too that wasn't too sure on that once it got announced. And I'm right with you, Donnie. How much is this going to be co-op? Well, it is going to be co-op dependent, but what is that experience going to be like? Are you going to excel at having to have local, which I'm never going to have other people with a 3DS, so I'm never going to experience that. What's the net play going to be like? Is it going to be laggy? Is it going to be a horrible experience? Triforce Heroes, it can be bad enough. I don't know. I'm intrigued because I think it could be a lot of fun, but it's a wild card for me. We've got you guys at PSVG. We've got we're building a community here. Maybe that's something that will be the saving grace of this game for me. I want to like it though. I haven't played a Metroid Prime game since Metroid Prime, so it'd be cool to get a shooter, like Donnie said, a shooter on 3DS. I don't have one, so maybe this will be it. I don't know. I'm keeping my eyes on it. I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll say.
Yeah, they did make a point to say that there was going to be lots of opportunities to get your hands on it to play prior to launch. Mm-hmm. So I think they realized that a lot of people were concerned at last year's E3, and they're trying to do everything to combat it, saying, no, it's not what you think it is. It's actually way cooler. So I'm the same way. I'm trying to be hopeful for it. I think, Donnie, you're right about the graphics. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. With a lot of games look better when you actually see them versus the footage they like to show in the trailer. So You're probably right there. The next title they talked about, which we'll touch on just briefly, is Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix.
Yay!
So I had missed the boat on this one. However, to me, this actually looks really cool because I was a big fan of the WarioWare games.
Yes!
And this seems to be very much WarioWare with a little bit of rhythm elements. So they got me. I'm sold already.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it's coming out. They didn't give a date, to be announced 2016. I basically wrote it down. It's basically Rhythm Games meets WarioWare. And they focused on a lot of the old favorites from the other previous installments as well as new mini games installed in this one. So seems pretty cool, very wacky, very weird, so right up my alley.
Rhythm Heaven Fever, we own on Wii because, again, my daughter loves rhythm games, and I say my daughter loves rhythm games. I love rhythm games. I play the absolute Jesus out of Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I still own, like, Rock Band 2, 3, Green Day, and Metallica and everything on Wii, and I still play them on Wii U, like, somewhat regularly. We love rhythm games. I love Tetris. You can say all you want about puzzles and mixing up genres. They're all rhythm games. There's all a music-based rhythm to all of them, and Rhythm Heaven takes that to the nth degree. You get a little mini game, like a Wario game, where you hit a baseball, or you're sitting on a park bench, you're kicking a can, you're feeding birds. They have these really nice manga, hentai type of artist little graphics going on the screen, and everything's going in time, like Hatsune Miku. Although Hatsune Miku really kind of goes over the top with all that glowing graphics, everything flies all over the screen. But you get this little time-based game. There was a free-to-play game on 3DS. Oh, what was that game called? Where you played baseball. Rusty's Real Deal Baseball?
Yep.
Okay. You remember the little baseball game where the baseballs came and you hit the ball, hit the ball, hit the ball, and you feel like you're like, all right, there's a rhythm to it, and you kind of do it, just like Runner, the game I just mentioned, Runner Rhythm Million. I love these games. These are great portable games, to be honest with you. These games are really fun if you're just sitting there by yourself and you just want to preoccupy yourself with something really fun. And here's a really cool thing with the Rhythm Heaven games, if you've never played one before. The music's really good. They have really good music. I'm going to read to you the Rhythm Heaven game. Rhythm Heaven game that came from the press release, because I think this might actually maybe sway a lot of folks. Rhythm Heaven Megamix. This game offers more than 100 rhythm games, 30 of which are new to the series. An additional 70 have been selected from previous games in the series from the Wii, DS, and the original Game Boy Advance titles, which was never the Game Boy Advance title, which was never released in North America. So this is a collector's edition of sorts. This is the best of the best that this series has to offer. I know this game didn't sell well on Wii. It kind of came out late. It is a rhythm game. It doesn't really appeal to hardcore. If you have a 3DS and you want to play something this summer, get this game. You're going to enjoy it. There's a lot here. It's the best of the best it can be. It's like the definitive edition, in my mind, of what this game has to offer. Even the Wii graphics will probably look way better on 3DS than they did on Wii because of the art style. You're going to really enjoy this game. I'm really excited. It's one of my favorite announcements of this Nintendo Direct.
It looks wacky. It looks crazy. It does remind me of like the first time I played WarioWare forever ago. I'll definitely keep my eye on it. It's just looks like a crazy time killer that would be fun. I mean, it's got a sweaty luchador. With what can I say?
And who doesn't want a sweaty luchador in the middle of
I can't think of anyone that will say no to that.
All right, and last but not least, this last game was also a little bit of a surprise announcement if you didn't read the leaks. The themes we talked about throughout this Nintendo Direct was, hey, we're going to give you this mini game to thank you for purchasing this or for supporting the Wii U, and hey, we're going to offer Amiibo support. Well, this title, they threw it all into it. So last one, I believe, was called Kirby Robobot. Was that it, Donnie? Do you know? Yes?
Kirby
Donnie, yes.
Planet Robobot.
Planet Robobot. Okay, so this will launch on June 10th. Features 25 different copy abilities that Kirby has, if you're familiar with Kirby at all, which you probably are if you're listening to this. He eats his enemies and adopts their abilities. He also will be able to use tech, and he has this kind of sweet-ass Mecha Warrior suit he jumps in now that also will be able to copy 10 different abilities as well. And in that, they're going to throw in another game called Team Kirby Clash, which is a 4-player co-op. You kind of severe beat 'em up. You can pick different abilities that you can have for your Kirby. So your Kirby might have a sword where somebody else has fire. You kind of team up and bash bosses. You level up and gain new abilities while doing so. This game will, of course, feature amiibo support, as most of the Nintendo titles do. Random amiibos will give random abilities, but they're also character specific. So if you use Mario, Kirby gets firepower. If you use Link, he gets a sword. So a lot of support for amiibos in there, which is the trend. And then, speaking of amiibo, Kirby will have its own line of amiibo to launch with this, featuring Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, and Wobble Dee. Each of these amiibo, if you use these, will not only get a special copy ability that you will only be able to get by using these amiibos, they also get a costume so he resembles that person. So obviously the Kirby amiibo, he still looks like Kirby, but with Meta Knight, he does transform King Dedede and Wobble Dee. So looks pretty cool. I have played my fair share of Kirby games, probably not all of them. I don't think I've played most of the 3DS ones, but I did play Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, and I played the old school Kirby games. So kind of excited. This looks like a new twist on a classic formula they got going on. So pretty exciting. I think it's a solid announcement.
Jason?
I haven't played a Kirby game in quite some time, but it does immediately remind me of some of the old classics. And so at first I was like, okay, I'm not too sure. And then I kept watching. Then we had like crazy Mecha Kirby. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But then out of nowhere, there's like this 4-player co-op RPG class-based boss fighting. Kind of reminds me of the Mega Man arcade game that was in Japan, only that was included on like the collection ports. I can't remember. I want to say it was like Mega Man Power Battles, or I don't think that name's right, but I was like, wow, that looks really intriguing to me. I think it's really fun to do. Like, you had like a healing class, and I was like, wow, okay. So by the end of that video, I was like, okay. What I started with being, I have no interest. That's like, wow, I kind of want to play this game. So it looks really interesting to me, and there's amiibo support, so there's that too. I don't know, it looks cool. I like the it's like Mega Man but Kirby at the same time. I don't know. I'm into it.
So I appreciate what Kirby does for Nintendo, but I'm not a big fan of Kirby games. I say that as Kirby is my favorite Smash character, and outside of that, that's about all the love I have for Kirby. This game looks good. It looks like a Kirby game. The thing that I love about Kirby is Nintendo uses Kirby kind of as a test patient, a guinea pig. They come up with some little idea, some sort of weird mode game thing, and they give it to Kirby, and they'll put it out there and see if people like it. And if they do like it, they bring it to Link, and they bring it to Mario, they bring it to Samus, all kinds of stuff. So when I saw this, my first impression was this looks like that little mech, little robot X. You know that game I'm talking about, that little robot X game that they had that came out, little robot battlers or whatever. They came out with this little game earlier this year, last year in the fall. This little 3DS game where you got to have this little mech suit that you could.
I think I found it.
Little battlers.
Little battlers experience. LBX.
There you go. There you go. That's the game. This game looks like that with Kirby. Again, I said a recurring theme in this entire Nintendo Direct was we have these assets that we created for these other games that we're going to bring to these other series and try to make the most of it. This game looks like a really good game. I would say it looks like a game that you get on Black Friday for half off. You'll probably really enjoy it. It looks like there's a lot there. I will say this. I'm tired of the Kirby 2D platformer method. I felt like this entire thing had a lot of 2D platformers, to be honest with you. I think Kirby was kind of at the bottom of that list, in my opinion. I'd much rather you go and get Azure Gunstriker or Azure Gunvolt 2 or 1 or Paper Mario or any of those. It's going to be better spent with your money. but I do appreciate the role that Kirby has. I like the online multiplayer aspect that the game has. The last Kirby game also had that little beat 'em up kind of Smash thing that they kind of worked in. I really liked it. So I think it's a good game. I wish they wouldn't have put it last. I wish they would have put Paper Mario last.
Yeah.
I think it would have done a lot well for the entire flow of the event. But in closing, I will say, man, what a hell of a year to have a 3DS.
No kidding.
I've got 12 to 23 3DS games, depending if you count virtual console games, and that doesn't include the 25 plus 3DS games that I have over there in my box, half of which I still haven't beaten. I mean, I was really late to portable gaming. The 3DS was really my first portable game machine. I got a 3DS because I had to, because of all the Zeldas, and as I've gotten into it, I've been constantly saying on forums for years, it's been growing and growing and growing on my favorite console, my favorite hardware. And guys, it might be my favorite console of all time. I've played the absolute crap out of my 3DS this year, and between all of the RPGs and these endless games like Dragon Quest 7 and 8 that are promised, and Monster Hunter, of which I've never played and still haven't because I'm scared, because I keep hearing that these games are 100 hours long and they're engrossing. All of this stuff coming to 3DS, I remember my own blog post from last E3 was, is the 3DS dead? Is there nothing coming to this console? And here we are like 8 months later, and I'm like, this console is incredible, and poor Wii U. I mean, it got 3, 5, maybe 6, depending on how you count them, titles.
Yeah.
I think the titles are great. I can't wait to play Twilight Princess. The Zelda Wii U is the ultimate promise for this console. My overall impressions from this Direct is that Wii U is on its last leg. I think the Zelda Wii U will be the final announcement for this console at E3 as they unveil whatever it is that they have next, which we've already heard multiple rumors on. Check the next podcast for the details on that. But I'm very excited. This was a great Nintendo Direct. This was a Nintendo Direct for Nintendo fans. If you're a Sony fan, you're not going out to rush out to buy something else. But if you're a Nintendo fan and you watch this today and you still have that original 3DS, I guarantee you're sitting there going, man, I might need to buy a new one. Because this is a great hardcore Nintendo fan Nintendo Direct, which is what which is what we expect from every one of these. I was very impressed. I'm very excited to play most of these games. And last mention, I did write notes. The Bravely Second and Bravely Default, they had closed story prologues that you can still download. So you can still download the original, and then the Bravely Second prologue comes out March 10th, which happens to be my birthday, Mario Day, March 10th, and you will be able to play those. So if you're one of those folks that are like, man, I love RPGs, but I didn't know if I wanted to get into that Bravely Default, Bravely Second thing, go play those prologues. They're like a good hour or two apiece, and they are kind of closed stories. So they don't even really pertain to the rest of the game. So it's almost like you kind of get like a free little episode. So go download and play them, and that's it. That's what I've got.
All right, Jason, your final thoughts.
Play the 3DS. Holy cow. I did not expect... I knew like they were going to have a little bit more of a library. I did not expect that much. I mean, my wallet is already just going, oh my God! Because there's so much. I mean, it's disappointing that the Wii U is kind of going stagnant, but I don't even care because I've got the 3DS. I'm so glad I snagged one right during Christmas because there's so many things I want to play on that. I mean, I've got Star Fox, that's great, but wow, 3DS is going to be more than enough to keep me occupied, and then once we do get some news on NX, hype train, full steam ahead. But man, I can't wait to start playing some of this stuff. I mean, this was, I think this was, for this Direct, for at least for me, it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden we had it, and it just kind of really brought me back into Nintendo and kind of got me excited about Nintendo as a game company again, because for a while I was just meandering, and now it's like, all right, I'm back on board. I'm excited. I can't wait.
No, agreed. I think they brought it big time with the 3DS, giving us game after game after game. And I mean, a lot of these games are long games, too. You're going to get your money's worth out of these things.
Yeah.
There's more games, and there's going to be time for any of us to play them. So,
exactly.
They did it right. I think I'll go out and say this right here. This Nintendo Direct was better than their E3 presentation last year.
Absolutely. That was the one thing I kept thinking is, where was all of this in June?
Yep, I can't say that. Like, I completely agree. I definitely agree with both of you saying, like, this definitely seemed like the swan song for the Wii U. However, one thing you guys didn't really touch on, this is a hell of a way to go out.
Yes, it is.
Yes, they're like, hey, we only got this handful of stuff left, and, then we're going to move on, but we're giving you some quality stuff. Paper Mario, Star Fox, Kirby. There will be the Zelda game. Like, these are big titles to end with.
Yeah, and Pokken Tournament, too.
Yeah, that's true. And I think what they were doing right here was to dump all this news out to say, okay, E3, we're talking NX and Zelda and probably nothing else, but you're not going to care. You're going to love it because you went ape in the beginning of March, and you're going to go nuts again in June. And you're going to love it, and we're going to show you why we're going to continue to stick around. Our formula has proven itself time after time after time that these franchises that they have, regardless of the new innovations that they do with them, the new ways to play Mario. I mean, all these years after, you're still playing Mario. 20 years later, you're still playing Pokemon. 30 years later, you're still playing Zelda, and they're giving you new experiences. And I think they're just going to continue to go with that formula. We'll get little surprises here and there like Splatoon and new stuff introduced. But ultimately, Nintendo's going to keep being Nintendo because they do it better than anybody else can. Who else can sit there and continue to resell you the same games over and over again? The SNES, we're all pumped about this. But here's the thing. If Sony came out, like Sony has the PS1 classics, how many people are wasting their money on that stuff? That doesn't have the same feeling afterwards as it does playing an NES game or an SNES game. Again, it has a whole different feel to it that you don't mind spending that money. But if you go to back and play like God of War, the original one now, re-released on PS4, you'd be like, what the heck is this? They don't age the same way. Nintendo just has that nostalgia factor, and they're going to keep milking it for all it's worth, and I'm A-okay with that. So I'm excited. This was a great Nintendo Direct. Gets me even more excited for E3. My wallet is crying. I want all these games, and my wife is just looking at me like, really? I'll sell her on a few because she'll want to play them, but other than that, I might be waiting some time here. But it's okay. I'll have a lot of stuff to look forward to because I probably won't be buying an NX if it comes out this year. I'll keep playing my Wii U for a little bit and jump on down the line. But it was exciting. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much cap it up. Does anybody else have anything else?
The last thing I will say is we're going to talk about this on our podcast tomorrow. If the NX is what people think it is, if you just bought a 3DS, I don't think you're going to feel bad about your purchase. And I feel like this Direct went a long way towards that. If you buy half of the games that they unveiled today and you play them all the way through, I won't say to completion, but to a point where you feel good about your purchase, you're not going to be buying an NX until 2017 or 18 anyway. These games are going to keep you busy. I mean, a long way Nintendo was like, all right, you just bought a new Nintendo 3DS? You feel maybe like you wasted your money? Nope. Here's a bunch of stuff to keep you busy. We'll be here whenever you want to jump on to the next thing. I think it's a win-win for gamers. I was a big fan. I was so happy. This is a great Direct, and I'm happy to share at least my thoughts and reacts with you guys. So thanks.
Definitely. I think it was a lot of fun, and, a little bonus podcast for you fans there. We'll still be recording an episode tomorrow, going on and on for probably another hour and a half, 2 hours like we tend to do. But, hey, this needed to be done, so we didn't talk about all this tomorrow as well as the other stuff we want to talk about. So,
amen.
Thank you both for being here with us, and thank you all for listening. Remember, find us on Facebook. Find us on our website, playsomevideogames.com. Please rate us on iTunes. Tune in tomorrow for another one. And as always, boys and girls, never stop gaming. Unless you're playing Tokyo Mirage, just stop. Please. Good night, boys and girls.